Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy and ascension forecast for Sunday, May 29th to Saturday, June 4th. So last week we had our last quarter moon in Pisces pop off the week on the 22nd, on the same day that Mercury, who was retrograde, moved back into Taurus. This definitely has us in a reflection mode, a review mode. We are rewinding not only to the endings, the closures that we experienced in Pisces season, but we're also going back to the beginning of April when Mercury first moved into Taurus, before it moved into Gemini, before it went retrograde. We had some thoughts, we had some ideas. We were looking to speak into existence some of the elements, the foundations, the routines, the relationship worth and values that we needed in order to build our new dreams upon. Much of that did not happen because, of course, we entered into retrograde season. We had eclipse season. Nothing really got manifested. We didn't really bring anything to life. Foundations didn't get built. Instead, we seen more damage and destruction take place. Why? Because that eclipse energy needed to remove the elements from our life that we were too attached to, that were preventing us from evolving, from moving into a brand new path, a brand new mission, a brand new purpose. We had that energy really pop off on the 22nd, the peak of the Palladium portal, the beginning of the evildoers week over in Geneva at that evildoer summit that I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And what is interesting is that we had Mars, the god of war, ruling over our energy, our drive, our passion. Yes, war and anger move into its place of power in Aries on the 24th, which for many of us seen a lot of horrible incidences on the collective global stage that we're going to talk about here in a second, because things are not as exactly as they appear, and we have to dive a little bit deeper into what some of these situations actually are, what they're designed to do, and what we have to do to override the program. Nonetheless, Mars moved into Aries on the 24th. This triggered a spark, a fire, a passion, a desire, a frustration, an agitation, an irritability, and anger in many of us. We are highly triggered, highly activated, many of us looking to take action, to move forward, to progressively aggress ourselves on the path of which we currently are now inspired to pursue. But of course, we're still in retrograde season, so we can't move forward as we would like, which is absolutely just adding to the frustration, to the irritation, to the absolute anger of the situation of it all. If you are listening to me Friday evening, first of all, I want to thank you for being here in this live chat. But we also have Venus at her very, very pivotal 29th degree, crisis degree in Aries, as she is prepared to take her place of power, to step into her comfort zone, to take the throne, to put that beautiful crown on her head tomorrow, the 28th, when she moves into Taurus energy. If you haven't listened to the Venus and Taurus astro forecast that I put out earlier today, I'm going to recommend you do so. We have the masculine and feminine energies in their place of respected power. Mars rules over Aries, Venus rules over Taurus. We got a lot going on, a lot of rebalancing, a lot of reorganizing, a lot of restructuring. Yes, you keep hearing me say those RE words because we are in a retrograde. We got a lot going on. We are building towards the new moon in Gemini that's taking place in just a couple of days. But this Palladian portal that we've been moving throughout this week has really kind of put the spiritual war that we're all in on the global stage for a couple of reasons. We have all this incoming energy, all of this incoming intelligence, these light codes, this healing energy coming in from the higher realms. And then you have these evildoers over doing their little Dr. Evil summit over there, trying to strip us of our rights, of our sovereignty, of our love and light force energies. We've definitely seen a little bit of a cluster F on the global stage throughout this week. I'm very hesitant to even want to talk about it because there are a lot of people that just don't seem to have the level of understanding that I would hope that we would all be at as of right now. And I am going to have to choose my words very carefully so that I don't have people come at me for all different reasons. We're going to jump into that in a second. I'm trying to build you up for what this rant is going to be. We do have to cover some very, very sensitive topics because, quite honestly, I am just tired of the games that are being played on the collective front right now, and I'm tired of being disappointed in humanity every freaking week for not passing these tests, for not seeing what's going on, for constantly validating that there is zero enlightenment, awareness, evolvement coming from the collective. Super frustrated. We're going to talk about that in here just a second. But first, this week we have, like I said, the new moon in Gemini taking place on the 30th at the 9th degree. Now, I am going to talk about this in just a second too, but I am behind on my moon guide, on my moon info, because Mercury retrograde has totally thrown a wrench into my life as far as technology is concerned. I'm finally getting a new computer, all kind of amped up, but I have lost most of my content, which means that I am starting from scratch again, which is highly frustrating. And because of that, I am behind in my timeline and my deadlines. So for you Moon Guide subscribers, I do apologize. I am working my absolute ass off in order to get that together again as soon as possible. And yeah, just frustrating when it comes to technology. Drop me a line in the comments to let me know how this Mercury retrograde has affected you, whether it's hit you in the car department, many people having, mechanical breakdowns, technology going awry, of course, communications going just absolute glitch fest. It has just been such a task and such a chore. What we also got going on this week is that we're finishing up May. May brought us a lot of life lessons revolving around the number 5. The number 5 highlights for us our heart chakra. Yes, we had retrograde season. Yes, we had eclipse season. Yes, we had multiple portals. Yes, we kind of reached new records as far as the Schumann Resonance goes. It was always supposed to be a very transformative month, and that has not ever been a disappointment throughout the month of May. We are seeing huge changes take place in our physical lives, take place in our heart space. We are recognizing where it is that we've been beat down and broken down in order to be a little bit more raw and vulnerable and authentic than ever before. We are recognizing new passions, new desires. We are recognizing new elements of our creative forces, where it is that we have to tap into a new energy force in order to truly express ourselves. This has been quite a month, but we're wrapping up these life lessons and we are entering into a brand new month, June, which brings us the lesson of 6. Although I will go more into depth about what the lesson of 6 is all about in June's energy forecast, just know that we are also in a year of 6. 2022 is the year of 6, where we have to perfect our physical circumstances, the foundation in our lives, our day-to-day tasks and chores, where it is that we are being of service to other people, where it is that we're paying attention to our health and wellness, especially where our mental health is concerned. It is about discipline. It is about systems, structures, organizing our lives. And of course, we're getting a reorg right now because Mercury is retrograde. So speaking of Mercury moving into this week on the 3rd, we do have Mercury going direct. Yay! 26 degrees in Taurus, which actually takes us back. It's pretty much in the same kind of area where we had our eclipse energy, which is a little bit suspicious. You know, we definitely have to reflect back to what transpired under the new moon in Taurus. That was an eclipse, solar eclipse, and the full moon in Scorpio, which is a total lunar eclipse, in order for us to have these aha moments. Mercury rules over the mental plane, over information, over how it is that we're processing some of the details in our lives, where it is that we are building new narratives, building new ideas, building new perspectives, and where it is that we are speaking into existence some of the elements from our vision, from our dreams that we are looking to bring into our realities to build upon. This week, we will be experiencing the final days of Saturn being direct. Yes, he is going to be going retrograde at 25 degrees on the 4th. Interesting. Mercury goes direct at 26 degrees on the 3rd, and less than 12 hours later, we have Saturn, the Lord of Karma, going retrograde at 25 degrees on the 4th. Super freaking interesting. What do we know about Saturn going retrograde? Well, first of all, it's a heavy hitting planet, so it doesn't hit us as, I would say, intensely as Mercury, even Venus, when they go retrograde, because of course they are the inner planets. Saturn, though, is going to take us on an inner journey inside of us to test our willpower, to test our strength, to see where it is that we are or are not disciplined enough, where it is we did not learn the life lessons, where it is that we failed to boss up, where it is that we are failing to recognize where new roles and responsibilities are required of us when we boss up and move into new soul contracts and soul timelines. Again, I will put out an astro forecast for this event. It will end up in the June energy forecast when that comes out this week. But I felt like, of course, we had to address what those topics and themes were. And now that we have the heavy hitting planets moving into a retrograde, they will likely stay in that retrograde, taking us into October, November-ish, which means that we have a summer of a lot of inner work to do. Sounds beautiful. So this week we also have, so just a reminder, last week we wrapped up the Palladium portal. This week we have one of 4 royal stars. Aldebaran, I hope I said that right. We all have our own way of saying things, but basically it's the silver portal from the 28th to the 31st that we align with, that tends to activate our third eye, that tends to bring us a lot of mental clarity, a lot of new ideas, a lot of firm decisions. And what I find interesting about this, seeing that we're activating this energy from the 28th to the 31st, it happens as we have the new moon in Gemini. The new moon in Gemini is going to help us solidify the choice point, the decision, the options, the path that we've been debating over. It's going to give us a lot of clarity, put into words, so to speak, for us to have a better understanding of what's going on within us, be able to express our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings outwardly, and definitely kind of anchor in one choice point, one path, one option, one decision over the other. Again, I will have a full new moon in Gemini astro forecast being published here very soon. And we'll do a deep dive into what that new moon in Gemini is all about. So we definitely have another fun-filled week of enlightenment, of awareness, of evolvement in order for us to be triggered and activated in all the right kinds of ways for us to move forward. So before I jump into the Ascension symptoms for this week, I do want to cover just a couple of things. I have a short homework list. First of all, I want to thank you so much for the love and the healing vibes. If you tuned into the Ascension forecast last week, you would know that I'm going through my healing and recovering journey from my dental surgeries. Y'all have been so sweet, just kind of stating that you wouldn't even know that there was anything wrong with me. I am so grateful for that. I wish I didn't know that there was anything wrong with me, because it's been a very painful, very uncomfortable time. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm trying to take care of myself as much as possible. I really do appreciate all the good vibes, all the love that y'all been sending my way. It definitely helps. The other thing that I want to bring to your attention, because it was just brought to mind, so you'll notice that I don't plug my services at all. And I don't ever request donations, especially of a monetary sense. To me, I have a weird relationship with money. I'm never going to ask for your money. Money is very important as of right now. We all need to hold on to our money. However, there are people that are in a better financial situation that are constantly trying to show their love, their appreciation, their support in a financial sense. And over the last about month or so, I've had more people on my lives, such as this, send me money over YouTube. And I want to thank you for that. Your generosity is just so freaking appreciated. But here's the thing. I have, and I'm not a techie person, but I have disabled the ability to send me money on YouTube for a couple of reasons. The main one is that YouTube takes a huge chunk of that money. I don't get hardly any of it. And I am not about you or I making these rich MFers richer than what it is that they already are. I'm not down with it. Not having it will not enable any kind of feature in order for you all who are so freaking lovely, who work hard for your money. I will not give you the ability to give YouTube any of your funds. I do understand that there are some people out there that really do want to show their appreciation for the work that I do through a financial donation. I get that. So there is a link in this little description under each of my videos. It's a menu link that's connected to PayPal. I'm Canadian, so we don't have Cash App. We don't have the Venmo app. We don't have none of those fun things. So PayPal is literally the only option that I even have for you to contribute monetarily if you feel the need to do so. So let me just say thank you to those that have donated financially through YouTube, but I have cut that off. Not happening. We are not making the richer any richer than they already are. Not having it. Again, please find the menu link if you wish to donate your love in that form. I do greatly appreciate it. However, it is not necessary. It is not required. I'm just glad that you show up each and every week to spend your time, your energy with me. That is currency all in itself. That is the currency that I love, that I just am so appreciative of. And I'm just grateful for y'all being here. But I do understand that there is a want, need, and desire from many people to give in a different way. And for those people, please find the link in my menu below. The other thing that I want to talk about is, the moon guide. So Mercury retrograde has just been kicking my technological butt. My computer, like I said, over this Mercury retrograde, deleted my video files. I lost my audio on some of these files. I wasn't able to recover it. Then I had these moon guides all ready to go. That file somehow came corrupt. Now I have no memory on my computer somehow, even though it's showing me that I have memory. I'm not a techie person. I literally could smash this computer in a million pieces and throw it out on the lawn. But, against better judgment, I'm not going to do that. I do have a new computer set up. I am working very diligently in order to transfer my templates and get everything on this new computer. It's a very slow and frustrating process. Even though it's brand new, I have had moments where I wanted to smash this one into pieces as well. And because of that, I am starting over from scratch with the moon guide. So like I said earlier, if you are a Moon Guide subscriber, I do really apologize. Normally I would have the new moon guide out for you by now. I am doing my best. I will get it done as soon as possible. I haven't been sleeping very much as of late because of the pain in my mouth and in my face. So while y'all are hopefully sleeping at night, hopefully I will be awake and getting that moon guide available for download. But I do appreciate it. It has been very frustrating. I appreciate your patience and your understanding. So with that, let's talk about some of the Ascension symptoms. Frustration, anger, irritability, agitation. Are you with me? Yep, they've been with me, and I'm sure they've been with you. Mars in Aries has really kind of triggered all of these emotions, all of these feelings within us. Because we're still in a retrograde, there is an element where we got this, foot on the gas and then we're pumping the brake, and somebody is constantly, kind of jerking the parking brake at the same time, and we're bucking back and forth, and it's very disorienting. We're trying to move forward, but the car won't let us move forward. And, once this retrograde kind of lifts up a little bit, we will see the forward motion go a little bit smoother than what it's been going. But right now, we're just being jolted and we're frustrated because of it. And I don't know about y'all, but my give an F level has reached an absolute new point of not giving any Fs. And I think that is a default emotion or a default mood to prevent us from totally just exploding and losing our shit in all the wrong kind of ways, to be honest with you. Impatience, impulsivity, we just want to hulk out. We just want to bust out of our skin. And it's this really weird sensation because I don't know about y'all, but I am just physically exhausted. I know I have my own, healing and recovery going on, but I feel like our souls are exhausted. Now, let me just bring this up. We are in a spiritual war, in case you didn't know. Everybody's talking about, World War III. Well, we've been in World War III. World War III is a spiritual war. It's an attack on our consciousness. It is an information war. That's why you see the craziness taking place on the earth and the collective as it is unfolding, because there are evildoers in the world that have been attacking our consciousness, our emotions from the matrix in which they've built, that literally pluck the strings of all the negative vibes, negative forces, negative vibrations and frequencies that our emotions are made up of. People talk about the matrix. The matrix is within you, just as it is outside of you. The matrix is in your mind, the operating system that your mental mind frame, your perspective, your narrative is based off of. It is also a grid, an emotional grid within you. So yes, there's a matrix outside of you. That's what the construct of this earth plane has been basically built in order to confine you and keep you a slave and a prisoner of the dark force energies that they siphon off of the earth and out of us humans in order to empower their agenda. And guess what? It's working. You can look around at any time and you can see the division taking place on this planet. Their mission is to divide and conquer. And let me just be clear. They've done that from the beginning. With religion, with race, with gender, with society classes, with Republican versus Democrat. So they use politics, they use whatever. You could put a picture of an orange on social media and say, this is the most beautiful orange I've ever seen. And you will have crazy effing people come out and say that that isn't an orange. They will fight about it, okay? What you need to recognize at this point, and this is why I'm getting so frustrated, I'm literally at the point where I don't even want to do this work anymore because I cannot be bothered to deal with the vast majority of people that do not understand what's going on right now. When you see people fighting and arguing for fun, please know that they are under the mind control of the dark force agenda, okay? Right from the beginning of time, Let me just be clear. Knowledge is power. We all have access to the knowledge, although the darker force agenda has gone to great lengths in order to keep it hidden from the general public. We all have the knowledge. They are using it for their dark force agenda in order to divide and conquer so that they remain in power. Us light workers, all we know is love and unity. And we don't care to get tripped up in this matrix grid that they've created in order to continue to support the division that they so desperately seek. I'm going somewheres with this. I just need to build up the platform so that we understand why I'm going here. We are soul tired right now. We are effing exhausted right now because of the spiritual war that has been taking place. And may I remind you, the light is already won in other dimensions. It takes a very long time for the physical manifestation, for the outcome that has already been successfully celebrated in other dimensions, for it to manifest here in this dense, physical, earthly realm. That's why we're seeing the chaos. That's why we're seeing the craziness. We are at the I don't give an F level that we are soul exhausted in the state that we are because the dark force agenda has pulled out all the stops in order to absolutely exhaust us to the point where we, even us light workers, us warriors, us spiritual warriors, where we don't even want to do this anymore. Like, get me off of Earth yesterday, right? But again, we signed up for this, blah, blah, blah. We're here. We're going to be strong. We're going to get through this, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. The world events that have taken place over this last week, because of the evildoers getting together and having their little evildoer party in the world on how they are going to strip us of our rights, of our sovereignty, how they're going to continue to push their divisive, divide and conquer type of narratives. This is feeling like it's too much. Not to mention, and I'm going to be very careful with my words and disclaimer, okay? I have love, I have compassion, I have understanding. I am not heartless, I am not cold. But when we talk about the mass shootings that have been taking place in the United States, I need you to understand that there is levels to these events that are not real. Now, I'm going to have a lot of people triggered. Right now, they're going to gasp and say, what do you mean it's not real? Okay, from a 3D level, this is a false flag event. If you look into the details of the shooting, there are crisis actors involved. The minute that you see a crisis actor involved, you got to know that it's a setup. Secondly, when you look at the quote unquote shooter, in this instance, an 18-year-old, just absolute cray-cray type of kid who's living with, I think it's his grandparents, that has like all these expensive items, a $70,000 truck. Well, you need to understand this was government funded. This was a staged event. One would say, why would your government ever do these horrible things? Well, I've been saying they're coming for your kids. This is an attack on the innocent. For a reason. We're moving into primaries, okay? This is all a political stage. This is all a political scam. Now, one would say, now, are you saying that it's fake, that there were no children killed? Well, that's debatable, okay? But what I'm going to even ask you to do right now is not let your emotional matrix get plucked in the wrong way, because that means that you are feeding the dark force agenda. What I would like for you to do is to rise above and understand that when you move out of these 3D concepts of power, control, division, hate, okay, fear, because that's what they want from you. They want to create these events in order for you to be afraid, for you to get in an argument about gun control, about school systems, about race, okay? Not to mention that they had a whole exercise, okay, a mass shooting exercise, quote unquote, attack at a high school just a couple of weeks ago. Let me just remind you that these evildoers, they do everything in plain sight. They let you know what is about to come. And if you pay attention, you will understand. Go back to the Buffalo shootings. That cop that got killed. Look into him. He was a genius. He was coming up with a water engine. Okay, we've seen this. We've seen this back in history repeat itself. Anybody that comes up with an invention that would basically go against the whole petroleum system, the oil and gas, the pharmaceutical companies, because it's all petroleum based, get killed. Anybody that is for freedom, for health, for wellness gets killed in a staged event. Any of the most horrific events that have taken place in our history have been staged events. Now, one would say, okay, does that mean that nobody got hurt? Well, obviously people got hurt. That's the point. But we have to take it up one level to the 5D realm, to the universal understanding of why these things happen. It's a sacrifice. The evildoers are doing a blood sacrifice ritual to put them in power. What we need to understand as light workers is that whether it's these children or whether it is, in a grocery store or whether it is in a church or a mosque or wherever the hell these awful things are taking place, that the people who die in these awful scenarios, their soul wrote a contract for them to be 100% fully aligned with them being sacrificed. Now, one would say, now why would they do that? Well, because you need these horrible things to happen in our 3D realm reality in order for change to take place. You need parents to be absolutely rocked to their core by losing their children. Now, don't even come at me saying that I'm cold because I've lost my children, okay? My babies died. I do not get them back. I do not get to be a mom. So there is no coldness coming from my end, okay? I totally understand the pain and the suffering that comes when you lose a child. My heart is open. My sympathies are overwhelming for anyone put in a situation to lose anyone that they love. But here's the thing. The souls that come here to this earth plane that die in horrific ways from the 5D level, their soul contract, they agreed to this in order to inspire a change. Nobody is going to sit around and let these things continuing to happen. These horrible things have to continue to happen in order to inspire people, to wake people up, to make the kind of change that is needed in order for us to build new earth. We are seeing all of these horrible things take place because this is the collapse of the old 3D power paradigm that these evildoers have been in control over for eons now, that now they are losing. And unfortunately for us, we are here to witness the very painful, very destructive process of the pain and suffering that these dark force agendas have created on this earth for their own power agendas in order for us, the light workers, those of us with a divine connection to the Creator, where we can be the link in the chain that says that the trauma and the patterns and the behaviors stop with us. This is how we build new earth, okay? I'm very passionate about it, very upset about it, very fired up about it, because the absolute delusion of the collective right now is infuriating. I have been sitting around for over a decade waiting for this awakening process. And every single time something happens, whether it's a shooting, whether it's the Johnny Depp trial on there to distract you, whether it's a Kardashian wedding there to distract you, the amount of people that continue to fall for this bullshit is absolutely disgusting to me. We have got to do better, people. We have got to do better. We are the awakened ones. Anytime that there is a storyline, that there is a narrative out in the world that is painful, that is sensitive, that is disgusting, that has two different sides, do not engage. They want you to fight. They want you to argue. They want you to have such a different opinion with your neighbor, with a different community member, with someone across the world, that you get fired up and inspired to sit there and pour your energy into fighting your opinion, your viewpoint. What is that doing? That is furthering their agenda. So when I say to you that, you know what, these horrible events, you know, they're not real to me. They're not real to me. That's not coming from a place of ignorance. It's not coming from a cold-hearted place where I don't have empathy, where I don't care. What I'm saying to you is that you have to not give these situations any of your attention or energy. That is how you break out of the emotional matrix that you have hardwired inside of your body. To me, it has to be love and unity. These things did not happen. We have to turn a blind eye to these things. We cannot engage in the conversation, the debate that these staged events are meant to create, because all it's doing is feeding the dark force agenda with the vibrations and the frequencies that give them power. We got to stop. You got to be better. You got to use your observer mentality. And I've been so frustrated lately seeing even awakened people fall for these emotional manipulating narratives. We got to do better. The only way that we are going to build new earth is if we stop letting them divide us. Okay? We have to do better. People, like, I don't know why I was nominated to be in this situation, to have this platform, to share this knowledge, to be a truther, because I do not have the patience to explain what's going on in the world to people. It's not coming from a place of arrogance. I'm not thinking that I'm better than anyone. I get exasperated trying to understand why people don't understand what's going on. It is so energetically draining. I'm to the point in my own mission where I don't even want to do readings anymore. You know, I've pretty much shut down that part of my website. I have a whole client list that I just feel totally torn over because there's constantly people reaching out for my assistance, for my guidance, for personal one-on-one readings. And I just do not have the energy, the patience, to the passion to even do it anymore. You know, I'm at a crossroads with my own purpose, my own mission on how to actually be an asset to the collective right now, because one-on-one is not doing it. You know, the silly questions that people just have that have nothing to do with life is exhausting. I would rather you keep your money so that I keep my sanity, because I don't want to tap in to these low vibrational people anymore. And trust me, in this line of work, you bring out the crazies. And I'm just not down with it anymore. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and that really ticks me off because now I'm feeding the dark force agenda that I don't want to empower. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot to recognize what's going on, to recognize that your emotional matrix is being plucked in all the wrong ways, to do the healing work within oneself in order to calm that grid down so that I am not contributing to the very force that I speak so ill about time and time again. It's frustrating. And we're all exhausted. We're all at the I don't give an F level that none of us ever wanted to be at, because we've been constantly bombarded with topics and themes that have emotionally exhausted us, mentally exhausted us, and spiritually exhausted us. But that's why we got to continue to get up and fight, because that's what they want. They want us to be exhausted to the point where we put our sword down, where we don't give an F, where we don't pour the energy into being better, into creating a new earth, into overriding the programs, the matrix, the frequency, the vibration that they've been living off of. And so as much as I did not want to come and do this forecast here today, as much as I didn't even want to talk to anybody, I'm here, I'm doing it because I know better. And we all know better. But this is a time when you feel as low and as emotionally exhausted and mentally and spiritually as exhausted as I know I do. This is a time to get very real with your own connection with the divine creator. That is where we get renewed, refilled, where we get rejuvenated, where we get recalibrated, where we get reorganized. Yes, you hear me saying these words. Why? Because we're in a retrograde. A retrograde is meant for us to move inward, for us to rest, for us to do the work in review and reflection, in order for us to revisit what it is that sucked the life out of us and what it is that we have to do to replenish our spirits so that we can continue to rise again and fight the good fight. So yes, anger, agitation, frustration, all of this is ascension related. May I remind you, what is ascension? Ascension is us moving upward. What are we moving upward towards? The vibration and the frequency of the emotions that we all have. Humans are special in the way that we have an emotional compass. But the dark force agenda uses our emotions against us, keeping us in the lower vibrational frequencies of fear, of pain, of suffering, of anger, of frustration. That is the lower part of your chakra system. That is where Satan lives. Satan is an energy just like Jesus and Yeshua is a conscious energy. Now, one other thing that people keep talking about, and I feel like there's so much confusion. This is kind of Bible related, and let me just be very, very clear. God is very real, okay? But the God that they speak about in the Bible is the God of this earth. The God of this earth is Satan. If you remember, okay, Lucifer, who was God's son, questioned him, got kicked out of heaven, was sent to earth in order to rule over us for all of eternity. The dark force agenda has taken over the Bible, has constructed it in a way to get you to worship the God of their world, which requires fear and pain and sacrifice. I hesitate to even use the word God because everybody has a different version of God. Let me be very clear. There is one God, and that is the universal creator that has created everything in our realm and outside of it, even the dark force people. That's right, even the dark force people. Everybody's talking about this being the apocalypse. May I remind you, apocalypse translated, because again, if you're English and you are in the Western part of civilization, we are under the most illusions in the whole world. Why? Because the English language is nothing but illusion and trickery. The words that we use in the English language mean something totally different in the original language that started here on Earth, okay? So they got us speaking a whole language that is actually praising the evildoer agenda that the whole Bible construct that we know to be true is written about. If you want to get to what I would say the truest Bible source would be, you got to look at like the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian mythology, Aramaic, Hebrew, all of those Bibles. Like the current Bible, like if you're talking about like the King James New Testament, nothing but bullshit, okay? So when people ask me, do you believe in the Bible? No, I do not. The Bible is nothing but a book of lies in order to trick you into worshiping a God that you should technically be against. But that is a topic and a theme for a whole different podcast. What I'm getting at, people talking about the apocalypse. The apocalypse actually in translation means the unveiling. What are we unveiling? The truth. What is the truth? That we have been lied to from the beginning of time. Everything that you know to be true is not true. This is why the awakening that we're currently going through is an unlearning of everything that we've ever learned, because we've been lied, we've been deluded, we've been deceived. Now I have everybody talking about, oh my goodness, we're moving into the end times, we're moving into the rapture, blah, 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 the book of Revelation, the book of this, the book of that. Okay, first of all, stop quoting a book that was written in order for you to worship the dark forces agenda. Let's start there. Secondly, okay, the rapture, the end of days, is nothing other than not being able to revisit the lower vibration and frequencies of the emotion that the dark force agenda rules over. That is Satan, okay? That is Satan. The rapture, the end of days, is basically where we ascend, right? We're ascending, we're getting better, we're moving upward through the chakra system, through the discs in our spine, that is Jacob's ladder, to the top of the crown of our head, okay? When we ascend, when we're moving upwards, we are creating distance between the dark force energies, the frequencies at the base of our spine that Satan rules over. The dark force agenda plucks in your emotional matrix grid. The end of times, it sounds pretty scary when you trust the book of lies, but what it is this revelational period where, we have this awakening. There's been this unveiling of truth that we've been lied to. We have a new connection with the divine creator. I am a light being. What does light mean? Light is information, it's knowledge. We all have access to knowledge and information. What you choose to do with that knowledge and information means whether or not you're supporting the dark force agenda and their God, or whether you're supporting the light workers and their God, which essentially is the universal creator, right? But everybody's been so deluded, so freaking confused that you got all of these people out there arguing about what this book of lies actually means for them. And it's so freaking frustrating. It's absolutely disheartening to watch, to listen to, because what is it doing? It's further creating the divide. And what is the divide doing? Putting the dark force agenda in power. All you need to know is that there's one love. All you need to know is that there's one race, human beings, okay? That's all you need to know. All you need to do when we're faced with these dark, horrible, painful situations is to remember that this is the matrix that they've built in you to feel awful, to feel sad, to feel pain, to feel struggle, to feel anger, to feel fear. And what do we do when we realize that? We overwrite the system. That's our main objective. We have to be better. We have to move into the higher realms of frequency, of emotion, of vibration that our higher chakra system rules over in order to gain Christ consciousness, which is actually crystalline consciousness, which is bringing the quote unquote junk DNA strands back online. There is no junk DNA, mind you. That's just what they want you to understand, to know, to keep you oppressed under the information and knowledge that we all have inside of us in order to dampen your connection to the divine creator that has created the good, the bad, and the ugly. Why? So that he knows the ones. Everybody wants to talk about the 144,000 chosen ones. 144,000 is just the petals of accumulation when all the chakras are open. They want to talk about the trumpets and the Bible sounding off. The trumpets are actually your 7 chakra systems. When you do the healing work, when you move up through the chakra systems in your body, and that again relates to emotions, vibrations, and frequencies, when you unlock the 7 chakras, they accumulatively have 144,000 petals. The chosen ones, quote unquote, the chosen ones, God's children, if you will, has an open chakra system, has their pineal gland wide open, has Christ consciousness, the crystalline DNA strands all intact. That is the chosen few. Okay, we have to go through these horrible events. We have to go through the delusion so that our creator knows that we are always going to find our way back to him, back to love, back to unity. That's what this whole process is all about. Earth is the only place that our souls and spirits can come to in order to hash out the dualistic and polarized thoughts and emotions. Why do we need to do that? Because guess what? There's always temptation. There's always desire. That is where Satan rules, the lower vibrations and frequencies of doing what is right for us, right? In that lower vibrational frequency in your root chakra, survival. Sometimes in order to survive, you have to kill. Does that mean killing is right? Absolutely not. But we have to go through these things on earth, the good, the bad, and the ugly, in order to move through the life lessons that each of our souls are here to learn. And when we are successful in unlocking our chakra system and obtaining all 144,000 petals of those chakras being blown wide open and having our 7 trumpets sound, which are those chakras being blown wide open and moving in a very aligned and healthy way, then we are one with Christ consciousness. We are one with God. We have reached our divinity once again. So all of this Bible talk, y'all got to stop. And y'all got to stop watching, videos of debates and arguments and this. And if that means stop listening to me, then by all means go do it. Because honestly, nobody should be looking outside of themselves for validation for their own truth. Everything that you need is within you. People come at me all the time saying, oh, did you watch this video about so-and-so? And this is what they said about the end times. And this is what they said about the solar flash. And this is what they said about this. What do you think about that? Or what about the near-death experiences? And what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? I don't watch that stuff. I don't consume information outside of me. I have a divine connection with the Creator who gives me all the information that I need. It is a 3D human want, need, and desire to be validated and search for truth and resonate with something outside of yourself. When you step into 5D in the higher realms of consciousness, you don't let any external information even contaminate what you know to be true, because your connection with the divine Creator is all that you need. So people send me videos and say, hey, watch this. I want to see your feedback. I just say, you know what? Thank you for sharing. Half the time, I don't open anything. If you send me a video, I'm probably not going to watch it. If you send me an audio clip, not going to listen to it. You send me a meme, I might scan it. I might not. Only because I don't have the option. My eyeballs do receive information. But here's the thing. You got to stop constantly searching for information outside of yourself. Okay, I know it's confusing to be a human. I know that. I know it's confusing to have all this information come at you. In no means am I sitting here saying that what I believe in, what my truth is right, is the ultimate. Because guess what? I don't care if I'm right. That's not what I'm here for. My truth is my truth. I resonate with my truth due to the information, the guidance, the healing experience that my Creator has put me on. And I don't care if you agree. I really don't. And whether you agree with someone else or whatever, please understand that whenever you're put in a position to agree or disagree, that you are furthering the division tactics that the dark force agenda want you to be experiencing. Your truth is your truth. Your connection to the Creator is your connection to the Creator. Your information, your experience, your journey is yours. That's why the Creator has created all of us individuals, because He or she, actually no gender, I just don't know the word to call this non-gendered source of energy that the universal Creator is. However, it, in all of its amazement, said, hey, I want every experience on earth. I want to feel every emotion. I want every perspective. How can one entity be divided in a way to have all of these experiences and gain all this knowledge? Hey, I know. I'm going to chop a little bit of my divinity off and put it in each soul, in each spirit, so that all the humans, and I'm just going to stick with humans, even though we are not the only race that has a form of intelligence that is contributing to the overall experience that the Creator wants us to have. However, we'll just stick with humans for right now. We are all here having a very unique experience in order for us to gain as much knowledge and wisdom as possible, so that when we return to Source, which we all will, and you shouldn't fear that, because this life is technically hell. And let me tell you, from somebody that has died and been brought back to this hellhole, I cannot wait to go back and actually be at peace, in light, in love, in unity with the divine Creator. Let me just say that when our souls return back to Source, our experience, our ideas, our emotion, our whole journey contributes to the overall experience that the universal creator wanted us to have. Why? Because that is how we accomplish unity. We get divided into our individual realm, and then we come back and we unify, bringing our experiences back into the quote unquote hive mind that is the universe's creator. Okay, that's what we all come from. That's what we will return to. So yeah, I'm on a rant. What I want to get back to, I guess, is some ascension symptoms, because this is what these forecasts are supposed to be about. But if you've been with me for any amount of time, you've probably realized that our ascension symptom forecast every Friday night has kind of turned into my rant time about topics and themes that, come at me during the week. And let me just say, I am working on a new what I would like to call, I guess, like an episode, if you will, I don't even know what the word is. Mercury retrograde's messing with me right now, but it's going to be addressing some of the topics that I think frequently come up for a lot of people. And again, and I'm in no way saying that my perspective, my information, my knowledge is right for you, but it sure as hell is right for me. And that's the position that I've been put in, is to share my opinions, my experiences, my knowledge, my wisdom that has been based off of my truth. So we will be moving towards that. You will see new episodes come out just specifically focused on some of these topics and themes that I tend to get a little bit passionate about and rant about Friday evenings. So back to the ascension symptoms. Dizziness, spaciness, confusion. Yes, it's all coming. It's coming to a head. It's coming to an aha moment. It's coming to clarity. Why? Because we have a new moon in Gemini. What we've been doing since we moved into Gemini season is debating the pros and cons of two different choices, two different decisions, two different paths, two different options, two different timelines, two different contracts. What we are doing under the new moon in Gemini is anchoring one in over the other. That has a lot of crown activations, a lot of pressure in our heads, a lot of spaciness, a lot of dizziness. We are on the verge of a headache. It might even feel like a cluster migraine. You might even have one eye twitching over the other. These are symptoms of the energy coming in, the pressurized system that we have to go through in order to reach these aha moments of clarity, where we're able to put forth and articulate not only what we've been debating going on within our heart and our head, but actually speaking about it and speaking some of these ideas, some of these truths into our existence. What also comes with this Gemini energy is throat chakra activations. You heard me rant. This is the throat chakra activation. You heard the frustration in my voice, wanting to scream. I actually screamed earlier when my new computer wouldn't do what I wanted it to do. And you know what? Screaming, singing, speaking your truth, doing all those things are popping off the energy that tends to get stuck in our heart space that, we bite our tongue about, that can create burning sensations and heart palpitations and a weight on our heart chakra, on our chest, that we just need to free. Now, if you're having a sore throat or itchy throat, that is an indication that you're not speaking up, you're not speaking out, that you're holding things back. We don't want to do that. That's going to create a dis-ease in our energy. We want to get the energy out. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Speak your truth, even if it hurts somebody else's feelings. That's okay. We got to get the energy out. We have to start being a little bit more open with our expressions and articulate with confidence, with clarity, what's going on in our inner realms. Now, we're going to have a huge activation this week. We have Mars and Jupiter coming together, conjuncting one another. This is a big deal because, again, Mars takes 2 years to go around through all the signs. He's in its place of power in Aries. Jupiter takes 12 years to go through all the signs. This is the first time that they're meeting up in 2 years, let's say, but in 12 years, because it's been in Aries energy. It hasn't been in Aries energy since I believe it was like 2010. So you might have to rewind back to 2010 to see what's going on with you and some of the topics and themes that are coming up that could be relatable to some of the pain and trauma that you're having a hard time releasing and letting go of at that time. But what this is doing for us is that it's putting us in overdrive. We have huge passions, huge desires. We're going to want to pursue things, make big moves. Again, that energy is going to feel cluster-effed inside of us because, again, the parking brake is still on, people, until the retrograde is over. And even then, we have 2 weeks of post-shadow period before things are going to get up to speed, up to snuff. But it is a great time to dream big, a great time to identify with our passion, with our desires, with what it is that we want to do, to contemplate the actions that we need to take when we're given the green light go ahead to actually do so. But what this does is it creates a restlessness inside of us, a little bit of anxiety. Our blood is just pumping, we're rearing to go, but we don't know what to do with that. I would recommend that you engage in physical exercise or at least organize your physical environment. Again, retrograde, we need to clean up the mess of the past before we go ahead and jump into something new. I want you to pay attention to your impulses because, of course, this Aries energy would prefer us to act now and deal with the consequences later. We can't do that. We're in a year of 6. We have to be very calculated and strategic with the actions that we take so that we're building strong enough foundations that we don't have to worry about falling apart when we go ahead and we start adding to the dreams that we are looking to manifest. The foundation needs to be safe. The structure needs to be sound in order to house the big dreams that many of us have for ourselves. There's a lot of sexual desire peaking. We have Venus in her place of power. We have Mars in his place of power. This is the masculine and feminine divine energies coming together in order to rebalance the scales, to get us in touch with our passions, our desires, our physical senses. We're looking for joy and pleasure. We're looking to connect soul contracts. We're looking for soulmates, for twin flames. Again, if you buy into all that, we have to make sure that you're not falling for a false delusion. Secondly, we just have to understand that sexual desires is a huge, huge energy, life force energy, rules over the sacral chakra that you should be working on. That's our sexual desires, our creativity, what it is that we give birth to. Use your sexual desires for good. Doesn't mean that you have to go flesh on flesh. You can use that energy to motivate you, to stimulate you, to unleash a certain amount of power and fury that you haven't felt in a long time. Use it in a creative force type of way. Give birth to something new and beautiful that you're passionate about, that brings out the spark, the fire, the flame within you. Now is the time to do it. With all this energy, though, we have nervousness, we have anxiety, we're kind of glitching out. There's tremors, there's twitches going on in our physical form. We're seeing these glitches in the matrix around us. We're seeing it in nature and the patterns in our skies. We're seeing it in the changes in our eyes, the changes of our sensory system. We're also feeling it in our digestive system. May I remind you, there's more nerves in our digestive system than anything else. And the connection between our digestive system and our brain is very strong. It's something that many of us discount. That's why we have to clean our vessel. It's why we have to keep it light. Although we may want to ground, and we do that by just shoving junk food into us. Let me just, throw at you, if you haven't listened to the astro forecast for Venus being in Taurus, it kind of reminds us of Taurus season. Many of us were low and slow and on the couch and just, hoarding food into our physical form, trying to keep us low and grounded. That's not the way that we need to go right now. But this nervousness, this anxiety could make us very nauseous. Even if we're hungry and stuffing our face, we could be very, very nauseous. We are kind of exasperated right now. There's a lot of surges going through our physical form, our energetic form. This could create a sensation where we constantly feel like we're on a roller coaster and we need to puke. Many of us will puke. Just keep rolling, okay? That's a release. That's a whole cleansing situation. If you got to puke, get it out. On the other end too, if you're holding in some crap, literally, you got to let that go. Hemorrhoids are going to be your evil doer friend for a long time if you continue to clench and hold on to the past. We're in a retrograde, reflecting back, reviewing. Some of that is basically turning our stomach. Some of that we're not willing to let go of. Some of that we're not willing to process. What happens? We literally clench and hold on to the toxicity that is our poop. What happens? We build up a lot of inflammation, a lot of pressure. What does that do? Create some hemorrhoids. What does that do? Creates a literal pain in our ass. Do not do that. We have to keep it moving. We have to keep it light. We have to keep it fluffy. We have to continue to process. We have to continue to feel in order for us to heal. Speaking of healing, I've been talking for long enough. My mouth is asking me to shut the F up. I am going to have to respect it. I am going to have to wrap it up here. I know this was a fire-filled, passion-filled, semi-angry kind of venting session. I have no apologies. I needed to let it out. That is how I exercise my voice, my throat chakra, my truth, my experience. I hope that you receive this information with as much love as I intended it to be delivered with. I hope that we can all understand the divisive tactics that are being thrown at us on the collective stage right now. And I hope that we are all enlightened enough to be able to act as the observer instead of letting our ego react from a place of pain and trauma and fear that the dark force agenda wants to keep us in. We need to act as the observer to see the greater, grander plan of what's going on here, the lesson that is playing out here. And we have to be more observant, aware, and enlightened in order to see where we need to override the system. So with that being said, I want to thank you for showing up here, not only for you, but for me too. The love, the support, the encouragement, the validation is super, super appreciated. I appreciate y'all being on the battlefield with me. We're linking arms hand in hand, and we, as exhausted as we may be right now, are going to continue to stand firm, stand our ground before we're given the green light to go ahead and start charging forward. I send you nothing but love. I thank you millions and millions of times over for your love, for your support, for your energy, for your attention. I hope you have a beautiful week, and we'll talk to you soon.